Where are Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner? This is one of the strangest and saddest cold cases I've ever heard of, and I just read about it today. So it's been nearly 15 years since the Skelton brothers disappeared. This was without a trace, and they were from Michigan. So the boys were 9-year-old Andrew, 7-year-old Alexander, and 5-year-old Tanner. They reportedly spent Thanksgiving Day with their father in Morenci, Michigan in 2010. Their mother, Tanya Zuvers, was supposed to pick her sons up from their dads or her ex-husbands the following day. But she stopped hearing from their father. His name was John Skelton. So she ended up going to John's home, but he wasn't there. He was actually in the hospital due to breaking his ankle. He reportedly told hospital staff that he hurt his ankle when he was trying to commit SUICIDE. Now, police were able to get into his home, and they found his home was completely destroyed, but the boys were nowhere to be seen. It was also said John, the dad, changed the story of where they were when he was being seen at the hospital. He reportedly first said they were with their friends, but he then told investigators they were given to an unknown woman. He then changed his story again and said he gave them to an underground group that were keeping them safe. According to reports, phone records helped authorities to determine where John was the day after his sons were last seen. He had been in Morenci, Michigan early on November 26, 2010, and he then went to Ohio. It was said his phone pinged in Ohio about 20 minutes from his home, and then it shut off. It pinged him back in Morenci about 2 hours and 15 minutes later, and that was after he had left Michigan and went to Ohio. So he was gone for about a total of 2 hours and 15 minutes. Search parties, of course, ended up looking for the boys, but to this day, they have not been found. The father has yet to tell anyone where they actually are or if they're even alive, except for him telling police about giving them to unknown people, which none of that's ever been proven. Now, according to the boys' mother, Tanya, she said that their dad told her that the boys would be hibernating until they all graduate high school. But now all three of the boys are old enough where they would have graduated years ago, and, well, they're nowhere to be seen. About 2 years ago, Tanya, the mom, took the steps in order to have her sons be declared deceased by filing a request in Lenawee County Probate Court. In the state of Michigan, a person is considered to be dead normally if they have been missing at least 5 years. She said it was definitely a difficult decision to make. Now, according to reports, the dad, John Skelton, is currently in prison at Bellany Creek Detention Facility, which is in Ionia, Michigan. He has not been charged in connection to his sons being missing, though. But he was sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison for unlawful imprisonment after he pled no contest to the charges. According to reports, Thanksgiving Day of 2010 was not the first time he took the boys and kept them away from their mother, Tanya. He was also accused of taking the boys out of school 2 months before they disappeared. It was said he was going to take them on a trip to Florida, which is where his parents live, or lived. I don't know if they're still alive. After that incident, John and Tanya divorced, and Tanya was granted custody of the boys right before they disappeared. Now, this coming November, John is set to be released from prison, and that's crazy. Now, these are some of the boys' age progression pictures that have been released over the past few years. The most recent photo, I believe, was released in 2018, and it showed what the boys might look like at the ages of 19, 17, and 15. So they could be a bit different now. That's because they would now be 24, 22, and 20 years old, or at least around that this year. Anyone with information about this case, big or small, is asked to call Michigan State Police at 517-636-0689. You can also call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 800-843-5678. Okay, I think all signs point to who you ask, the dad. They were last seen with him. His house was in disarray. He allegedly tried to commit SUICIDE. This was just weeks after he and Tanya got a divorce. Mom got custody. I think he was angry about all that. I have a strong feeling that these boys are no longer here with us anymore. Prayers go out to their loved ones. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And for more cold cases and true crime, be sure to follow and subscribe on YouTube.